This is an extremely rare opportunity to be able to speak to someone who has done us proud multiple number of times on the global stage. Well, she's done us proud on our own land already. And then when internationally she was representing the country, I think she had always not only a smile on her faces or her team members' faces, but everyone watching her in her team only kept smiling. And that's because I am talking about one who has done wonders and also won number of awards and accolades for herself in the field of cricket, Anjum Chopra. Thank you so much for being on this show, Chopra ji.
Thank you so much. And thanks very much for the lovely introduction. How do you know that everybody had a smile on their face?
They better have. They better have. Otherwise, the girls who are continuing to play for the country wouldn't have been in a position they are today. It's all because of you, your team members, everybody in the beginning who kind of took all the brickbats because it wasn't easy for you at all.
No, not at all. I think it's never easy for anyone. And you know, when I used to read about a crown being full of thorns, I was just like, how can a crown be full of thorns? But eventually, when I had it on my head, then I realized that it's never easy because you're always dealing with something or the other, and you just have to keep smiling because you have the crown on your head and people are looking at you at all times. So it's better to reflect a smile rather than reflect the pain. But yeah, it's a wonderful thing to have to look at it from one side. At least you have the crown on your head, and the looking at it from the other side is like, well, it just teaches you a lot of things. So the earlier you get into the act, the better it is because yeah, it's nice, and it's always nice to put a smile on someone else's face because they're happy seeing you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, which you did. You took a lot of courageous decisions also while you were in the team, whether it was as the captain of the team, whether it was playing international games, using newcomers. This was all written about in the history of cricket, and especially coming from a gender that was not looked upon as a strong contender for the game of cricket in the beginning. But of course, you changed all of that in people. You changed the way people even consumed cricket where women are playing. That must have been one journey. So when you had people questioning you about it, what would be your answer?
See, questions kept coming in, they keep coming in even today, but idea was to always have the answers or have a solution.
Right.
Problems are always widely known, solutions aren't. So I always believe that it's important more to look at a solution or to get a solution and provide it rather than discussing a problem because we'll always have those kind of situations. So it was never the outlook was never about fending off a problem. The outlook was always about finding how better it can be handled.
Right.
And if I'm the leader or if I'm the captain, I'm supposed to have a solution, though not every time, but at least I can always look left or right or dwell into other people's thoughts as to how we can move collectively towards a solution. It takes a lot of time, so a lot of time went into that only. Sometimes it's taken as a positive thing when you ask others. Sometimes it's not perceived as a good thing, but those are perceptions that keep coming on along the way as you move around. So it's not about what they think. You can always be perceived as a very good leader or an ordinary leader. The results can go in favor of you or against you, but what it does in totality is just shapes you as a personality, and how you hold on to that personality in a good or a not so good manner is probably that's the result that time will always come out with and showcase that. So it's all a learning phase, and I guess sport is one such place where it teaches you more practically, and it provides you with more practical instances in front of
Right.
you, which you
Right.
have to come up with as solutions very quickly. So you don't have like 1 year to come up with a solution. You have like a 1 minute or a less than fraction of a second to come up with a solution. So yeah, you think on your feet and be prepared.
When you used newcomers for that game that you performed so well in, did you take time to come to the decision? Did you have enough supporters for a decision like that? Because it was quite historic, I think, in itself.
See, for me, it was always about if somebody has the talent to be where they are, then you just have to back them. Because if I, as an individual, or I, as a youngster, wasn't backed at an under 15 or a under 10 age, or backed as a leader to become a leader, there must have been, and there have been people who backed me. So my
Right.
job is just to back the next generation or the one who are around me at that time, so that the legacy is carried forward. Nobody can become a leader without having a proper backing and a proper guidance and a proper support base. Because if you don't have a support base and if you don't have a proper backing, and I'm saying using the word backing in all positivity, not in all negativity. So if you
Right.
don't have that support based around you, then either you won't last long, or you won't make an impact, or you won't be able to sustain. It does. The quicker it goes up, the quicker it comes down. So for
Right.
you to sustain, you obviously need to have a right support base around you and not work on marshy land at all. Have a very strong base under you. So so the idea was always, if a youngster has a talent, and I feel that young talent can work in a particular manner for me. So it's my job as a leader, and it's my job around with the senior brains around me to identify what is that best phase of that youngster's talent to be utilized, and ensure that they are backed, they're given the confidence to go out there and implement those skills. Because
Absolutely.
everyone has that talent.
As a
Everyone has that
leader, you
talent.
gave the debutants the confidence, and they didn't have to,
True.
I believe, look back, because there's 7 debutants we're talking about. And your first series as a captain, this was the year 2002. It was amazing. Kudos for a decision like that. Kudos for just changing people's belief in you and in the game, and in how the game can be consumed, as well as even played and designed and strategized, everything.
7 newcomers and one person who's making a comeback after 8 years into an Indian team.
Right.
So, to make them understand that they belong there, and I, as a leader, might be age-wise younger to them, doesn't matter. They can go out there, express themselves. They can be the way that they want to be. And I'm not a leader which is going to refrain them, or put restrictions on them to be conducting themselves in a particular manner. For me, it was all about going out there and saying, fine, I've come here to play the match, and I want to perform my best. I want to give my best on the park, be it batting, bowling, or fielding. And when I go back from the ground, I should be a happy individual. And that's what I told everyone. And that's what the message to everyone was in the dressing room as well, that you should be a happy cricketer, happy individual the moment you walk on the park and the moment you walk off it. So that when you come back the next day, you come back with a smile. You don't come back with a grimace or a problem or a difficult scenario. As much as possible, keep things calm and comfortable for everyone. And it can be difficult, but it can be very easy as well. If you try to keep everyone very happy and pleased in their own individual space,
Sure.
then I'm sure half the job is done.
Oh, it's brilliant indeed. We're going to slip into a song, come right back. Anjum Chopra on the show with me today, and she's been slaying it ever since. Well, motivational speaker, author, commentator right now. She's in the city of Mumbai, going through the T20 leagues, the matches, ups and downs, individual players, the goods and the bads, everything. Don't go anywhere. This is Afternoons with Annie. On the show with me today, Anjum Chopra, and the T20 League. This has kind of become the most sought after format. What do you have to say about this format?
I love the league though. It's a nice league. When I say nice, means it's very different from when you cover a test match or a one-day cricket, and then you cover even an international league, and then you
Sure.
come here and cover an IPL. I think it's brilliant. It's so fast. It's so quick. It's so pacey. Before you blink an eye, there's something else which has happened. You want to prepare yourself that I want to talk about one event, and by the time you actually go about talking about one event, two other events have actually happened. Every ball is an event, so it's very entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining for sure. But what do you have to say about health in this? Do you think
Yeah.
every cricketer has that kind of fitness level to be able to have this as harsh? I mean, back-to-back games?
Yeah, it is pretty testing in terms of fitness for a player. Physically, mentally, both ways. It's very testing. At least in this edition, we are based in one place. At least we can difficult to say one city, because even Mumbai is made out of few cities. But
Yeah.
yeah, at least in one part of the country, near Mumbai, Maharashtra, we are based in the middle, floating around, and less of travel. But then
Yeah.
it is still a challenge physically, I say, because obviously the weather is warm, and it gets
Mm.
warmer as the tournament progresses. Games in the afternoon are sweltering heat that the
Yeah.
players have to
Yeah.
go by. and mentally challenging, because if a player is doing well, they have to ensure that they keep doing well. If a player is
Right.
not doing that well, the tournament doesn't give you that much of time to come back strongly until unless you're very strong in your skill base, strong-willed, and it's a test of character and temperament both.
Right.
Uh, so it's not easy, but as I say, it's very challenging. Yeah, whether it's a broadcaster or whether it's a player, more for a player, of course, it's very challenging, but it's a test of everything. Your patience as well. It's
Oh
a
my
test of
God. I
patience
can
too.
imagine. I can imagine. I mean, the match when it starts at 3:30, I'm wondering, especially for the batsman with everything that he has to wear on him to be on that crease. Oh my God. Well, kudos to the players as well for having that kind of grit to be able to continue playing their favorite game with passion. Tell us quickly about some of your favorite players.
Look, I think every team has wonderful players, but I'm very excited and happy seeing the younger crop emerge. Every season of the tournament throws up nicer names,
Right.
players in form or players to look out for, or players who've been doing really well. Last season we saw Ruturaj Gaikwad doing so well. He was one of those players who did like remarkably well, and then that remarkable form continued in domestic cricket as
Yes.
well. This season, we've got a player like a Tilak Verma who's doing really well, whether it's just in the batting or in the bowling department. You have younger players, Kuldeep Sen coming in and bowling. You have, Vaibhav Arora coming in and bowling. You have an experienced player like a Rishi Dhawan coming back after 5 years and playing in the tournament. So it's very nice to see young players take, and more importantly, when you see these young players, that you have an interview or you have a chat with them, and when you used to watch a young player coming into such a high profiled league, and I'm talking about good 5, 7, 8 years back, you used to say, oh, that shyness, that very soft approach used to be there when you used to interview these players or have a chat with him. And now when you interview a young player, they're full of confidence. They know exactly what they have to say, the
Yeah.
words that they have to use, and how they have to carry themselves, the demeanor in which they present themselves. That has changed. It's, of course, lots got to do with the exposure,
Right.
but how they conduct themselves, how they prepare to come out there and be in front of the world, that's changed.
94.3 One World, your station.